Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. It's a bright day, and so I'm getting my day started. So you're gonna join me as I get prepared to get the day going. All right. Hope you guys have been doing good so far. Um, it's a lot going on. A lot going on. I don't know if you guys have been watching what's going on with Washington D.C. This reflecting pool and the debacle that's going on with folks getting um, I guess, charged or accused of vandalism. The pool, um, because our fearless leader decided to spend about $14 million renovating the pool, painting the bottom of the pool a particular color, and it didn't work out. People are being accused of messing up the great look that they were going for because now what was supposed to be blue or green, I don't even know what the heck it is, algae infested. And so, people are now being accused of, what do you call it, putting whatever pollutants in the reflecting pool in DC. And so it has become their problem. And so, yeah, so much going on. You've been watching this supposed agreement to end the war in Iran. Gas prices have been going down though. When I do have to visit the gas pump, which is not very often. Um, so I don't know. Some type of agreement was made, and yeah, just watching a whole bunch of stuff, man. I'm trying to not be so. I don't know. I've been reviewing some of my content, and I realize I've been, I wouldn't say bashing Christianity, but man. And so, for this video, I just kind of wanted to do something to start off the day. And I want to say this, man. Every single morning, you should take some time to center yourself, right? Whether that is through meditation. I do meditations in the morning to get myself centered. I have an emotional, uh, not emotional, but I have a motivational book that I read about, I say two chapters. The chapters are only about a page long to kind of get my mind centered, right? Um, to start my day. Why does this thing look like it's leaking? These Keurig pots, I tell you, man. Now they said that the Keurig that we use, those of us who use the pre-made packets, it has plastic inside and it has something to do with, it has some health risks and stuff. So I don't use it. I just kind of have the cups that I fill with grounds, and there you go, much better. When I fill it with grounds, I then just kind of filter my coffee. I have to do coffee in the morning. All right, have to do coffee in the morning. It's an absolute must as I do my morning meditation. So let the coffee brew, and we're gonna move on to another room here. Get this morning routine started before I boot up my machines and get my work day going. So it's been crazy, man. I've been doing some work, getting ready to do some things in the beautiful island of Jamaica. Um, and it's been quite an experience. I'm beginning to realize that my own people from my country, um, they're special. Some of them. I hired some workmen to do some work, and the mistake that was made is paid them too much of the money for the contract in full. And so the experience that I'm having now is they delay. I think the term that we use in Jamaica is they start dilly-dallying. Some days they're sick. They got all types of stuff going on, So now the project that I'm working on has been extended, and it seems to be the goalposts keep shifting. And I'm getting antsy. Not gonna get discouraged from doing the work there, but it's really a testing of my patience. It's really a testing of my patience. But I'm steadily trucking, man, and trying to move forward with that. All right. But I've been really I've been making a lot of changes in my life. A lot of changes. For one, I'm a little bit older. I guess you could say I'm middle-aged. And just made the decision that there are certain things that I didn't want to do anymore, right? Especially because I wasn't getting much satisfaction out of it. One of it was church. I have a major problem with church. Not church, but I have a major problem with Christians, right? And so I pulled back from the organized religion, and I have been doing quiet time with my Creator and building a different relationship, I guess a closer relationship with God, because I just got disgusted. I got disgusted with what I was seeing in churches, and what I was personally doing and not getting any gratification. And many will disagree, because being from the Caribbean and even Africa too, religion is a big thing, right? Many of us were raised in Christian homes, right? And so we really, when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to religion, it's something that we really know. It's like it's hard coded in our DNA, But over the years, I have been really unsatisfied. And so I decided that there was a disconnect somewhere, right? And I didn't want to do it anymore. And so, to be honest with you, since I have made the decision to read and find scriptures for myself, there has been a difference, right? There's been a difference. I'm less anxious, because I'm really just like sitting down and learning more about how the Bible came to be, learning more about the content of the Bible, learning more about the teachings in the Bible and why we do what we do. And I'm realizing, man, that something is amiss, right? Something is amiss. And I'm praying and asking the Lord, because I don't think I'm ever going to stop saying the Lord, but I'm praying and asking God to help me to find the truth, right? And do I question even the validity of God? Yeah, but I'm never going to deny that there is definitely a supreme being that controls everything. And again, it's still tied to what I have learned, right? And I'm on that journey, man. And that's one of the reasons why I've kind of transitioned the channel to being more realistic. Hold on. And then when I look and I see some of the things that have been happening in media with some of a lot of the pastors, I'm like, there it is. There it is, right? And people will say, well, God will never destroy the church without a warning, and pastors are humans, yeah, false prophets, and all this other stuff. But there is something missing. There is something missing. And I'm looking for the answers, and I don't want the religious answers because honestly, the religious answers, it is not going to give me, and this is just me, the revelation that I'm really looking for. Make sense? Right. And so, I'm sharing this on social media because one, it gives me the liberty to speak without being yelled at. Because when you try to have a conversation with religious people, the conversation can go from 0 to 100 real quick, and I don't want to do that. So I do this by myself. And how many of you really have been where I'm at, or are have found the answers you're looking for, right? Because you have to search, man. You can't just take this stuff for face value anymore because too much is happening, right? When I look at the issue of like right now, what's happening with the war in Iran, people will go back in biblical history and say, well, this war is something that has been going on forever and a day, and it's never going to end until the end of time. It's sibling rivalry and so on and so forth. Okay, but then there are a lot of people that are dying, and I've always said, well, how is it that God just allows wars to happen and for so many people? If you even look at the war in Iran, right? I think the statistics are in the thousands of soldiers that have died in that particular war, and I'm still trying to figure out the purpose of the war, right? And again, I don't know everything, but this is why we have questions, right? I'm still trying to understand the purpose of the war, and I'm still trying to understand why America got involved. When you look at the immigration situation that's going on with ICE, and how immigrants are being imprisoned and deported, right? People who came to America for a better life, and I get it. They may not have gone through the right channels like some of us, right? But still, life in some of these third world countries can be rough. And then now, and some smart people, right? That came to the US and don't have papers. I mean, you got some criminals too, but not all of them are criminals, have been detained and they're getting deported. And even now, I think the term that we're grappling with for Jamaica is deportees, or TCN. I think they call them third country nationals, being sent to Jamaica because of some agreement. Now, that could be a good and a bad thing, because with a number of 10,000 approximately, with 25 or so immigrants coming to the country weekly, And of course, they're saying that they have their uh, filtering system to go through the names and go through the profiles of these individuals, and anyone that has, like, I guess, criminal background, they're not going to take them. And then they have identified places for them to stay, but if they're doing 25 people every week, and Jamaica is being used as um, a transitionary place, which means that they're only passing through, but they will allow them the opportunity to seek asylum, which means that permanent stay in Jamaica. If you're having 25 coming in every week, and all 25 every week say that then they want to stay, how many locations island wide are they going to make available? What type of protocols are going to be in place um, for these people? Because yeah, the government is going to get them there. The government is going to the US is going to filter some funds to the Jamaican government. To what extent? So then they're going to have to, if they decide to say, they're going to have to seek they're going to have to get their TRN. They're going to have to get all the particulars that they need so that they can find gainful employment to sustain themselves and their families, right? And the argument is also this: well, Jamaica came out of agreement with Cuba, which was providing a lot of assistance to Jamaica, especially the healthcare system and various other industries. Some of these individuals, the TCNs, are deportees that are coming. And I thought about this. Maybe some of them are doctors, right? Maybe some of them are nurses. Maybe some of them do have some marketable skills that could then be utilized in our country. So, I'm thinking about all of these things and I'm saying, man, again, and then I said, okay, and then the churches in Jamaica, this could be a very good opportunity for them to do something for people, for real, and that is not money generated. The churches, because some of you churches have been doing fundraisers for a while, been doing mission trips overseas. So now, channel some of that money and do some mission work in Jamaica for these immigrants. Try to work with the government if the government will allow it, right? So again, I don't know. I'm trying to say, well, this could be a good and a bad thing. But it's something that really, I mean, you need to take a more strategic approach. And I think right now it's just utter politics and then a whole lot of praying about it. But while you're praying, what can you do on the ground, right? So let's see if this will work, right? Don't totally knock it out the box, because while these deportees or TCNs are being deported from the US, they need a place to go. And there are people too, and I get it, some criminals and stuff like that, right? But rather than being fearful, is there another angle that we can approach this prayerfully? And I say that with some sarcasm, right? And see if it works. It may work, it may not work. Who knows, right? And begin to have some of these discussions. And I don't know, there seems to be a lot of deflection because, there's this stuff about pastors who, all this viral videos now about pastors who are messing up in Jamaica. And where's some of the prophets? Some of you prophets who are prophesying about stuff. Give me a prophecy about what's going to happen with these deportees. Give me some prophetic word about what's happening in Iran that is more than a scare tactic, right? Um, so that we can strategize and move forward. So help me to understand, right? Man, there's so much going on. But anyway, I'm not gonna make this a very long video, and I've said a lot all over the place. But this is just where my mind is, and I wanted to kind of woosah before I started the rest of my day, and of course, do a little lineup before going. This is a part of my self-care routine, man. But don't allow the circumstances that are playing society to cause you to have a bad day. Be positive, right? And then what I like about social media, it's it's a platform that you can use. It's like you can use for good or bad, and I'm trying to use it positively and talk about things and kind of present a different approach to things. It looks good, right? I know, bags on the eyes, but comes with age. And encourage people to move forward, you know, and stay in tune with current events and talk about those. You don't have to get loud, but talk about them, and let's reflect on how we can take good things out of the bad things that we're seeing happening to help people to turn down the anxiety level and live happier lives, right? And for those of you who are pastors who are doing the wrong thing, pastors have a long history. A lot of pastors are respected or should be respected. The office of a pastor should be respected, but a lot of you pastors are um, doing so many wrong things that's putting a bad taste in the mouth of so many people. Please stop. And if you realize that, you know, um, that's not your calling, it's okay to step away from it. There's nothing wrong with it. Nobody can really, honestly, nobody can judge you and criticize you, but it's better if you do the right thing and step away from um, a community that relies heavily on believing in a supernatural God that answers prayers than for you to be out here just robbing the people of money, brainwashing people, and then they end up being hurt. And there's a lot of church hurt. I am a brother that has been hurt by the church. Some of it of my own volition, but in my defense, when you are exposed to a thing from a very young age, and this is why even my daughters, the other day I was talking with one of my daughters, and she questions a lot when it comes to church and religion, and I can't blame her. Right, I really and truly can't blame her. And then she said to me, "So, how are you dealing with all of this stuff?" And I said to her, "I don't talk religion anymore. I don't try to convince anyone about religion anymore. I used to. I used to even catch an attitude about it. It's not right because there's just too much going on in the world. There's too much going on in the church world. The church is about money. Bottom line, it's about money. It's about how much you can tithe and how much you can offer, and then they make a record, and then they judge you, or you get some type of recognition based on how big your wallet is, right? And then they speak in these tongues, and then they bring up these prophecies, and then they do all of these things, right? um and I don't think a lot of it is real. I don't think it is. And so I've shifted my focus from that to really and truly being more positive and searching biblical texts or scriptures for the truth. And as I'm doing that, I try not to be so boring and just beat that, but I talk about everything else that's happening in the world, and try to make it make sense, right? Because somebody has to make a difference. Um, So don't judge me, but listen to what I'm saying, and please critically analyze and assess. And as they would say in Jamaica, pick sense out of nonsense, right? And let's keep pushing, because we're living in some very troublesome times, man. Very troublesome times. And now is not the time for negativity. Now is the time for us to really be positive and to build up each other, not tear each other down. All right. So I just want y'all to know that I love y'all, and I appreciate you guys 150%. Okay. So until next time, as you've always heard me say, don't you allow anything or anyone to cause you to have a bad day, because quite frankly, they don't have a heaven or a hell to put you in. Peace. I'm out of here.